Hello, Reds, and welcome back to another episode of Liverpool Latest. I'm your host, Matt, and as always, I appreciate you joining me for yet another episode. Let's just rip the band aid off. Let's just get right in the brass tacks. Netherlands defeat against Morocco last night. Today is Tuesday, for those of you that don't know the recording schedule. I watched that entire match, and I am not going to lie to you. I was a bit disappointed at times with Netherlands' efforts. And then there were other times where I saw sparks of brilliance. Virgil van Dijk had some pretty solid blocks and tackles throughout the course of the match. And I had the sneaking suspicion deep down that maybe, just maybe, Netherlands was going to pull this out. Unfortunately, that goal in the last several minutes for Morocco more or less sealed the deal, more so than I think many people like to admit. I think over time, Netherlands really slowed down. I don't think the intensity was there as much as it was in earlier parts of the match. I think they were kind of playing on the back foot a lot. And you can say the same for Morocco at times, but I think Netherlands got less and less. They didn't perform as well over the course of the match, especially in the latter stages before the penalties. And the penalties, oh, God, that was bad. That was really bad. You know, I could say so much about that whole penalty sequence because we had two fantastic penalty games back to back, with Germany being defeated by Paraguay and later on Netherlands losing to Morocco. But honestly, that's not really the whole point of what I want to talk about with this match. I think you know where I'm getting at here. Cody Gakpo, man. To unveil the news to the world that he had lost his unborn son with his partner in the process of pregnancy on Saturday, mind you. On Saturday, that news dropped. To then, 2 days later, go and play in a knockout stage round for your country and score the sole goal in that game for your country with so much emotion inside of him. He didn't have to play that match. He didn't even have to be starting it. Gakpo, I think, played most, if not the entire game, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember seeing him get subbed off, so you have to forgive me. But the fact that he even started that game at all, when I saw the starting lineups before the match started, I said to myself, I am shocked. That was literally my exact words out loud. This wasn't something I said in my head. This wasn't something I thought. This was something I said out loud. I am shocked that Cody Gakpo is playing this match. I was dumbfounded, okay? To see him score that goal after everything he has been through in the last 48 hours prior, if that doesn't bring a tear to your eye, I genuinely question your ability to be human. No matter if you support him or not, and you know damn well I have had my fair share of criticisms for Cody Gakpo throughout the course of the last year, all right? I am one of the number one criticizers that I know of that talks about Cody Gakpo and his level of play over the course of this season. But you take all of that away, and what you get is a man who is on the verge of having a family. Maybe he already has a son, if I'm not mistaken, or some child, but he was in the verge of having a child with his partner, and they lost that child. And I can only imagine the mental and emotional anguish he was facing being in a completely different country dealing with this issue and not being by his partner's side. Or maybe she made the trip to the US. Who knows? Who knows? All I can say is, or was it Mexico they played in? Whichever. Regardless of where it was played, Cody Gakpo didn't have to play yesterday, but he did, and he scored. And the emotion on his face and the reaction his teammates gave him after that goal was something fucking beautiful. And there was not a goddamn thing anybody can say to take that away from him. And if you try to, you're a fucking asshole. So Cody Gakpo, all my love and support to you, my friend. You did the best you could last night. Unfortunately, the team around you couldn't get the rest of the job done. You know, it's a team effort. They win as a team and they lose as a team. And unfortunately, Netherlands as a team did not get the job done because Morocco was just a little bit better than them in that match. The good news out of all of this, if there is any silver lining at all outside of the Cody Gakpo goal, is that Gakpo, Gravenberch, and Virgil all report back to preseason under Iriola, and we may or may not get to see them play, or I may or may not get to see them play in some capacity in the U.S. tour, specifically the New York Yankees stadium game against Wrexham. So I'm excited to see them. I am hoping that I at least see one of those guys. It just sucks that out of everyone that played yesterday, the 8 players we have in the tournament, we have lost 4 like that. We lost Wirtz with Germany. We lost Gravenberch, Virgil, and Gakpo. And all we have left are Alisson Becker, Alexander Isak, who, let's be fair here, is probably not going to make it past France today, as that match is about to happen in just a few minutes. That's why I'm trying to get this done so I can watch it. And Victor Munoz, who, you know, whether you consider him a full Liverpool player yet, I mean, yes, the transfer is kind of a done deal, and Liverpool consider him a player under their roof in the World Cup. But, so, he's still there. And, of course, we have Alexis McAllister. So 4 out of the 4 are still in the tournament. We'll see for how much longer some of them remain. But, man, that was a blow for us yesterday. It just sucked. But, yeah, man. All in all, Cody Gakpo, all love to you, brother. I criticize you as a player, but as a man, I cannot say anything negative about you. That's all I can say. What I also could say is fuck off, Crystal Palace. All right? I seen some posts by Anfield Edition yesterday, and I forgot to talk about it in yesterday's video, but I'm going to talk about it now. Apparently, Lyle Thomas, who is a senior football news editor for Sky Sports, put out some sort of post that Anfield Edition then reported on their own end, that Crystal Palace are monitoring Harvey Elliott's situation at Liverpool. Fuck off, will you? Fuck you. I want Crystal Palace to get the fuck away from us. After what they did with Gahey last year, you can kindly go fuck yourself and stay away from Harvey Elliott. I don't give a fuck if you're monitoring him. You can sit there and watch like the little cucks you are in the middle of the table. That's what you are. That's all you are to me, is the middle of the table cucks. So, leave Harvey Elliott alone. We need Harvey Elliott more than you fucking need him, okay? We're the ones with fucking problems in the depth in the midfield. Fuck off. I saw that, my blood boil a little bit. I fucking hate Crystal Palace, man. Especially after last season. The fucking bullshit we had to deal with them beating us quite a few times. Just irked me a little bit, that one. But yeah, no, Harvey Elliott, I want him to go nowhere but in a Liverpool shirt this year, okay? He should not be anywhere but Anfield. No BS loans with Aston Villa that they're not going to use him to avoid paying a price for him. No, we don't believe in Harvey Elliott, so we're going to send him away on loan. which is what we did last year. That's how I interpret it, as a failure from all accounts, and as anyone with a brain would. And my hope is that Harvey Elliott balls out this preseason and makes himself indispensable for Andoni Iraola and the rest of his crew, saying, hey, we need Harvey Elliott on our team. We need this guy because the team needs him. And there are people saying, and I don't know if I agree with this or not, but I will talk about it a little, that Florian Wirtz wishes he could be what Harvey Elliott is to this team. These are not my words. These are people who are online, and I don't take much of what people say online for granted, but I take it with a very large grain of salt. But I thought it was an idea that I wanted to mention in this segment, and I think that is a very unfair comparison. Harvey Elliott has been a part of the team for a very, very long time, both as an academy player and as part of the senior team. You're comparing a guy who's had 1 year experience on the team, who's had experience in the Bundesliga, and comparing it to someone who's practically a homegrown star, the Diamond, as we associate him as the nickname. So, not a fair comparison. I understand why people are disappointed in Wirtz and his performance throughout the course of the World Cup. I'm in some way, shape, and form as disappointed as well, but I am not going to use that against him because the system that Wirtz was in was not made for him to succeed and not made for him to ball out the way he should have. I'm hoping this year is better for him. Then I will be a proper judge of what I think of Florian Wirtz. But I still think Harvey Elliott matters just as much to the team. I'm not going to say he's better than Wirtz, but I think comparing a player with all that experience with the club to someone who just got signed last year is a very unfair comparison. But that's neither here nor there for me. Another thing that I saw that I laughed at, to be honest with you. There's no way PSG fucking mean this, right? David Ornstein from The Athletic apparently reports that PSG, this is from 11 hours ago at the point of this recording, by the way, so it's today, it's June 30th. PSG would want, quote, much more than the £116 million Man City paid for Elliot Anderson to sell Bradley Barcola. Are you high? I know France really loves cigarettes, but are they fucking smoking crack too? How the fuck could you possibly tell me Barcola, who you are basically pushing out with all of these moves you're trying to get with strikers by signing Yan Diomande, or at least on the verge of making a bid and signing him, because that's everything that we've been led to believe up to this point. How the fuck are you going to tell me that you guys want more than all that money that Man City overpaid for Elliot Anderson? Because they overpaid for his ass. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That was a very poor use of funds. That bid was ridiculous, but I can understand maybe 85, 90, 95 million, okay? But over 116 is absurd. That's not even weed high. That's meth. That's Breaking Bad level meth right there, okay? That's Heisenberg level shit. If that is true, and if it's David Ornstein saying it, I have some reason to believe that it's true, because Ornstein is usually a pretty reputable reporter. Much more could mean anything. Much more could mean as much as what Leipzig wants for Diomande to begin with. So I guess the reasoning behind that is, if we're going to, how do I say this? If we're going to potentially purchase Diomande for all of that fucking money that Leipzig wants, we're going to get something back. And it seems like Barcola is that bargaining chip. So either way, regardless of whether we've gotten Diomande or Barcola, we lose. We lose in the world of funds, okay? This isn't like Game of Thrones level shit where it's like, oh, the Iron Bank and all that crap. But this is certainly like, oh shit, we're going into debt level shit, okay? Like, that's just a ridiculous and absolutely absurd thing that I've read this morning. I said that and I read that and I chuckled to myself, man. I couldn't help but laugh. I couldn't help but laugh reading that news. Absurd. Absolutely absurd. I thought the fucking Man City bid for Elliot Anderson was ridiculous. This is just absolute. This is crack. This is crack, meth, and I don't even know what else you could smoke. Glue? All mixed together. That's how fucking high PSG is with that line of thinking. Granted, after I've kind of spoken about it out loud, I understand to some degree, but still, it's fucking absurd. That is absurd. Last but certainly not least, and I'm actually kind of relieved to see this news. This was also reported earlier today, and this is from Liverpool Echo, mind you. Inter admit that Curtis Jones' deal is becoming more and more unlikely, is more or less the tone of this article. Okay? So Inter Milan, yes, remain interested. As I think any club should be in Curtis Jones, because Curtis Jones, I think, is a solid player. Now, they've pursued him since January. At the time, failed. They've continued to pursue him. Reportedly, even put in a bid for Curtis Jones that was rejected very quickly by Liverpool because the bid they felt was far too low for what Curtis Jones was worth. Again, fair play to Liverpool. Maybe they don't want to get rid of Jones. Maybe they want a club to overpay for him. Who knows? Maybe they want to pull an Elliot Anderson level signing. I highly doubt that will be the case, but here's the thing. And this is where, and I've talked about this week, and I've mentioned it maybe in a video or two after. I think the smartest thing to do is for Liverpool to sell Curtis Jones. From a business perspective, selling Curtis Jones will help add funds to what needs to be a very, very fruitful transfer window. You can't get those funds to get players without selling a few in the process. I hate to say that, but that's just the way sports is. You can't buy if you don't sell. So, we all know Liverpool are more or less prepared to sell. It's just a matter of what the price is. The thing is that Inter Milan is publicly acknowledging that the valuation gap is slowly but surely making them believe that this is becoming a more and more unlikely pursue. What's the fucking word I'm looking for? You know what I'm trying to say. The fact that they're trying to pursue him, it's looking more and more unlikely. There was a word for it in my head, and I went full dumbass for a second. Please excuse me. I am on something today. I'm in a very strange mood. I'm in a very great mood, but a very strange one all at the same time. Either way, their sporting director, Piero Ausilio, openly admitted that these negotiations are stalling for good reason. They don't want to overpay. Liverpool is looking for a certain price, and it's a matter of the two sides willing to come to an agreement on said price. The good news is that they've praised Jones' quality, so they know that Jones is a quality player, but they're not going to pay the money that Liverpool is asking, which is around £35 million. What that is in euros, I have no idea, because this is Serie A in Italy, but it seems like Liverpool's stance is remaining firm. They have no indication of lowering their valuation, which is fair. I don't think they should. But I still think that they need to sell at some point this summer, because I just think it's best for business for the greater, transfer window for what they need to get. And really, it really comes down to the fact that they haven't even given Jones a contract yet. If they wanted to give Jones a contract, they would have done it already. clearly there is a plan to sell Curtis Jones. Whether or not Curtis Jones wants to be sold is entirely up to him. Just like the whole Eduardo Camavinga thing that I talked about yesterday. Whether or not the player themselves wants to be sold is entirely up to them. But in this case, there may not be a choice. Jones is probably going to end up getting sold. It's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when and to who. So, Liverpool in every right should protect Jones's market value, but they also have to keep in mind that this deal's got to get done because they need to get other deals done with the money that they're going to get with Curtis Jones. So, I don't know how this is going to end up. Inter might not get him at all, from what I've been reading throughout the course of the day in regards to this situation. And it may be a good thing for us, it may not be a good thing for us, depending on how you look at it. But from a business perspective, there's pros and cons. From a player perspective, I would hate to lose Jones. I really would. But realistically, I do not see how Jones is kept at the end of this transfer window. And if he is still on this team by the end of the transfer window, somehow, he's definitely getting sold in January. There is no doubt in my mind that January is the absolute end date for selling Curtis Jones. It has to be. Because they're not going to let him walk on a free. They're not going to let another player walk on a free again for the third fucking year in a row. At least a major player that has been a part of a championship team, mind you. So, that is my Liverpool Latest today. Really, really interesting stuff to talk about. I appreciate you bearing with me through it all. I've flown off the handle a few times. I'm in a very bizarre mood today. This is what happens when you put your 2 weeks into your real job, your big boy job, and the entire weight of the world is lifted off of your shoulders. And I hope that's coming off here in a job that I actually truly love, working with Fan Arch and doing Liverpool Latest for you guys. And I appreciate the fact that you join me every single day. And leave a like if you enjoy. That's the most important thing. There should be some form of appreciation with all of this, right? Leave a like, leave a rating. Tell me what you think of the show by providing a comment of some sort. Most importantly, follow and subscribe. If you're not following and you're not subscribing, what are you waiting for? You're missing quality, ridiculous conversations like this every fucking day of the week. Because when you join the Liverpool Latest family, and you should, goddammit, know that you never walk alone. And I will see you on the next installment. Be well, my friends. Take care of yourselves, and most importantly, take care of each other.